Hey guys, Rexter here, and welcome back to a brand new Pop Playtime theory video. In this video, we're going to be covering the elephant in the room, the question that everyone has been asking on the internet. What or who is Ollie? Originally, we stumbled across Ollie by quite a surprise. This is what sounds like a little boy speaking to us through some type of phone that we've never heard about or seen any evidence of in this entire time that we've been inside of the Poppy Playtime co-factory. We've traversed through deathly sequences this entire time, and this kid hasn't decided to help us not once. And now all of a sudden, here he is. So this video is going to cover who Ollie is, or at least a theory on that. Then we're going to jump into if Ollie is either good or evil, and can he even be trusted? And lastly, we're going to discuss how he has some relation, if not a lot of relation, to the prototype himself. So if that sounds good to you, ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn and a drink, and let's go ahead and dive in. So for starters, we initially come across Ollie as he begins to help us using this phone as a way of communicating with us. Through the entirety of chapter 3, he's an unseen person. Sounds like a little boy who communicates with us through this same phone. One thing's for certain, whoever this little boy is, he possesses a lot of knowledge about the playcare, and he tells us where to go and what to do in almost every location. He's also very aware of the threats, including Catnap and not to mention Miss Delight. He begins to explain how we can deal with them and implies that he studied the area's threats heavily, even helping us turn the power on to the playcare. Now, without putting too much thought into it, as I did my original playthrough, I just began to think that Ollie was an orphan who once lived in the playcare. I figured he was a young boy who was able to avoid experimentation and somehow survive the hour of joy as the lone survivor. But the problem that I keep coming back to is the fact that Ollie seems so young. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here to judge a book by its cover, even though we haven't seen the book yet. But this little kid sounds like he would be somewhere between the ages of maybe 7 and at the oldest 12. However, if that's the case, it really contradicts that Ollie is even human, seeing as it's been 10 years since the original Hour of Joy took place in this timeline, which would mean Ollie should be around 15 to 20 years old. Therefore, wouldn't you think he would have a deeper voice? Unless Ollie isn't a boy after all, but more on that later. Now, of course, there's been many theories all over the internet, and in today's video, my goal is to break down each and every one of them. So let's start off with the one that I think is the most popular, and that is that Ollie is secretly the prototype. Though that would be quite a turn of events, and don't get me wrong, while I did play my playthrough, I did make mention that this little boy sounds a lot like Gregory from FNAF Security Breach. Similar to how this little boy kind of navigates our way, almost as if he has a secret agenda for the player to personally benefit himself. He knows where to go, he knows where all the enemies are, and he even makes it seem like he does care for our well-being. Very similar to how the Mimic used Gregory's voice to his advantage. Now, originally I backed this theory, and let me tell you exactly why. When I first came across the VHS tape labeled Log Code 24459, this is an interview with the prototype himself. Now, listen closely.
Log code 24459. In relation, experiment 1006. The prototype. Stubborn as he is, and always silent with each passing session, I'm still uncovering fresh data nonetheless. Today's discovery. End of log.
Ready to talk now, are you? I possess
a question.
Go ahead.
Do you feel anything?
This question referred to
What, exactly?
You stick us,
Beat us.
tear at flesh.
Do you feel it?
There's a secret inside you, 1006. Valuable beyond all measure. I cut and prod and burn at it, and I get closer with each session. So speak, or don't. Fight, or give in. Regardless, I learn something new about you every day. It excites me.
Thank you.
You thank me?
Absolutely.
I learn something new about you every day.
Now, look what the prototype did here. Not only was he using different voices in order to compartmentalize sentences in order to speak back, but what is most horrifying is that at the end, he was able to mimic the doctor's voice perfectly. And he even says that he's learning a lot from him as well, meaning that he is adapting, using human behavior to shape the way that he interacts with people and learns himself. Very similar to the mimic from FNAF Security Breach, this monster is able to learn and adapt and then eventually change the way people view him, and in this case, maybe even trick our protagonist into thinking that he's trying to help him. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of times where I played this game and I thought at times Ollie's voice seemed like it was hitting weird high-pitched sequences, almost pretending, or like somebody who didn't understand how to properly speak. Like they were forcing their voice, and you can hear it in some of his voice lines. He'll go from talking regular to a quick high-pitched voice line, like a robot. But there are different things that kind of pull me away from this theory. One of them being the fact that he pretty much allows us to kill Catnap, and based off Catnap's relationship with the prototype up until the end, I don't think he would go out of his way to do this. Not to mention, Poppy knows Ollie and she even brings him up to us many times. They reference each other throughout the entirety of Chapter 3. Even Ollie says, "I know you're probably mad at Poppy for not letting you escape, but she needs you. We need you. You are our mission. Together, we can save a lot of people, including you."
I know you're probably mad at Poppy for not letting you escape, but she needs you. We need you. You are our mission. Together, we can save a lot of people, including you.
Now, obviously, we can't rule out the prototype on this sentence alone. However, it doesn't seem like something that this horrific monster would want to even discuss with a player or a human that he despises. He also references that we need you and you're our mission, and together we can save a lot of people. And this is just one of two voice lines that kind of pull me away from that theory. The second one is when he makes reference to the prototype's shrine that was created by Catnap. He says something along the lines of, "If you thought that was terrifying, just wait until you see the real thing."
If you thought that was terrifying, just wait until you see the real thing.
Now, I'm not trying to glaze here, but I don't think that this would be a detail that mob games would miss. I think that this was intentional. The fact that he references "wait until you see the real thing" means that Ollie has seen the prototype, but isn't the prototype. But now that sparks another question. How has Ollie seen this thing? So we can go multiple routes here, but let's start with the theory that Ollie is a child or an orphan who survived the Hour of Joy. Again, it doesn't make sense age-wise how Ollie has made it this far, but even more unlikely, how has Ollie survived this whole time? I don't see how a young boy could make it this far without stumbling across one of the monsters, And seeing as he's not a toy, he really doesn't have any way to defend himself. It's also kind of hard to believe that he's just been hiding this whole time, especially since this place is known for seeing and watching every movement made by any toy or person. Think about how easily we were spotted by not only Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, Ollie himself, Catnap, and every other character that knows our every move. I just don't think the prototype would let some little boy live. So I'll X out that possibility, but that does bring me to the next theory that's been going around the internet, and that is that Ollie is the boy version of Poppy. So I could see this one being true, but we've had no, and I mean no, reference to a boy version of Poppy throughout the entirety of exploring the factory in chapters 1, 2, and 3, playing Project Playtime, or any of the ARGs that we've watched to this point. So that fact alone kind of makes me go away from this theory as well. And if he is a version of Poppy or even an orphan, I would think one of the characters would have mentioned this to us, whether it was Poppy or even Dog Day. They always talk about how we're this angel, but nobody wants to discuss who or what Ollie is. And so this brings me to my last theory. My last theory is that Ollie is actually the surviving Bobby Bear Hug. Now, if you watched my video on the smiling critters, you'll notice I mentioned that 2 of them could possibly still be alive. There are 2 characters that when you click their voice lines on their cardboard cutouts, you don't hear any screams. The first one being Picky Piggy, which we already know how I feel about that one. But the next one even more interesting, as Bobby Bear Hug not only doesn't scream in their voice lines, but in addition to that, she seems to be left alone somewhere. And even crazier about all of this, her voice lines almost sound exactly like Ollie's.
Hi, I'm Bobby Bear Hug. Want to know how much I love you? I love you to the moon and back. I'm crazy about you. I'm lost without you.
Now look at what Bobby Bear Hug says here. She says, "I've been lost a long time," then begins to beg for her to go with whoever she's speaking to. And then her final voice line, "You won't leave me, will you?" I think this theory could make a lot of sense, as Ollie was left alone, left behind by someone or something that she loved. And I did say earlier that we're all fixated on Ollie being a boy, and obviously this timeline just wouldn't make sense as far as an orphan living this long and sounding that young. But it does make sense if Ollie is actually a girl, and Bobby Bear Hug at that. The voice lines correlate to something that would make sense in Ollie's story as well. Left behind by someone she cared about, and she's been left here for a long time. And that would make sense why Dog Day doesn't think that she's alive anymore. She's not dead, she's just been lost. Not to mention, we only come across Ollie's voice when we're in the playcare, the place that she knows best, because she herself was once an orphan that was put into this Bigger Bodies Initiative version of Bobby Bear Hug and has been lost since the Hour of Joy, implying that she was able to somehow survive or hide before Catnap or the prototype could get to her. And her character profile does resemble Ollie's, as Bobby's profile is a kind and caring soul, shows compassion for everyone and for everything. People and places and things, larger or small, are all receivers of her love. Each is enriched by this attention and affection, and in turn, so is she. This would explain why Ollie wants to protect us every step of the way and is always checking in on our safety and making sure nothing has harmed us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I believe that Ollie is actually not only a girl, but possibly the lost Bobby Bear Hug. And hopefully we get more answers on this in chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another theory video. If you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear your theories in the comment section down below. I read through all of them. I just sometimes don't have the time to comment back to each one. Also, we're going to be giving out a free copy, 3 free copies for that matter, of the game. All you have to do to enter into that raffle is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course comment down below Ollie in the comment section. Now guys, one big important detail that I want to point out is that I'm going to do 3 random giveaways to the people in the comment section, but I'll also be posting 1 free code for any member to really just give back to you guys for supporting the channel. I'll be doing that in a members only community post, and I'll also be giving back to all the subscribers by doing one in a subscriber only community post that will be hitting the channel, like I said, by sometime Sunday. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel with bell notifications on so you're the first one to get that code. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for all the love and support. This series is doing really well on the channel and I can't thank you enough. But until next time, peace out!